Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Patricia Stuart of Patricia Stuart Originals. Today, a few minutes ago, I just got through pulling these prints on my 12 by 12 gel plate, trying to avoid getting too many white sides. And it's black, dark gray, and a light gray. And I was thinking about just working with black, gray, and white today. And then I'm going to just use this plain computer paper in white, adding some marks. Marks using some black golden fluid carbon black, which I have in these small containers that have a real pointy tip where I can direct it easier for thinner lines. And then I have my trusty Posca pens, my black Chisel, and my medium point in white, and I have, well, this white is running out, so I have a new white, and then I have a Chisel silver gray. And I'll see what I can do with these. So I'm going to take, I'm going to take this computer paper, and with the gel plate, now let's see if I can make some thin marks. I think I've tried this once before where, you know, your marks and putting down the paper and doing a couple of pulls, you come up with some really great unique designs. So I have that there. Can never avoid getting paint on my hands. Okay, and so this is the first pull of that. Then I'm going to take another pull. Because you know, it doesn't begin to look like anything until you cut them up in pieces. Here's the second pull, which is much like the same as the first. And then you have this really nice stuff going on left back on the plate. And to get that off, I use a little matte medium. Put a little matte medium down. I don't want to use too much. And with a brayer, spreading it. Thin layer of it. I'll lay my paper down. And I want the paper to stay on the plate for a little bit so that it will adhere and pull it up. So it really takes that third pull to get those nice designs. And they're very organic. It's not something that you can create. It just happens. Okay. So this is what we have here. It's pretty cool. And so I want to go back with these that I just did, and I want to get this effect in between these dots. So I will have to take another pull, a couple of pulls, to achieve that. I didn't put a lot of paint in that bottle. Okay. So we're going to take this pull, put my newsprint, keep from getting paint all over my hands. Okay, so we get much of what we had the first time. Take a second pull on top of this. Okay, and now we get the print that we're really after. And so I'll put a little more gel matte medium down. Spread a thin coat. And I'm going to take one of these that was done, because I'd like to get that print design added in between the solid black, just for effect. And we accomplished that. So in between the dark solid, we have the ghost print in there with all the other impressions that were made on the plate. So I want to do it again because I have one more of these. So because this one was pulled as a ghost print before, I'm going to put a little solid in between, lightly in between, and pull on that one. And I don't want it to be too much. So if you ever want to make organic prints, you don't necessarily need a stencil or anything like that. You can just put droplets of paint on the plate, take a couple of pulls and watch them turn into their own image. And so in between the ghost print, I now have some dark marks. And so I still have more on the plate, so I'm going to take this one take another pull. And now I have some lighter marks. I'll go back to the gel medium. And we can end by pulling this up. And I will take the same one. It's dry enough. One of the things I love about the gel plate is that you just can't do the same thing twice. You don't get the same exact print. So we pulled up some of the ghosts there. So those makes for some nice cuttings. And so I have two plain ones here that have nothing for texture on them. And I can take my Micron 08 pen, ink pen, and with a ruler establish some lines as mark making, some light. Don't want them to be too heavy. Random lines. And things always look differently when these pieces are cut in smaller pieces, and then the whole look and perspective changes. And I enjoy seeing that process as well. So here we just have some random lines going across, which gives a different design. You can do it again, perhaps doubling up on these lines. And it's all to add a slightly different effect. You may get just a little bit when they're cut in pieces. We'll see when I cut these in pieces how much we're looking at in each square. It's endless possibilities with the gel plate. So now that we have those, I can go back and take one of these and with the white Posca pen, I can add some white dots in some of the black, and that gives a different added effect as well. It draws the eye into the center of the black differently than just the black dots and markings on the paper. And so this adds a third layer of something different. Something as simple as that makes a difference. So you see the difference between these if they were side by side. I can take this one. Well, I think I'll leave one of these. I think I'll leave this one as is to make the difference between these different prints. And with this, I can add bolder prints. I just wanted to close up these bottles. And here with a chisel, I can go in with a much bolder mark. Put a mark here, a mark there, short one there, another short one here. It's whatever in the moment. Some marks like that adds a nice speckled effect. So that when they're cut in pieces, you get a different look. I could have done a whole sheet of paper with this effect. And so you get something like this. So all 4 of these sheets that I've done, this one, this one, this one, and this, they're all similar but different. Now we have these solid prints that I had pulled earlier. And so these solid prints need some design. So I'm thinking with the dark one, I have this silver Chisel Posca pen. And I'm working with lines today more than large circles, so see what line effect, and to stay consistent with lines. And this silver Posca pen, very buttery, comes out very smoothly. So here we have one with lines, and even when this dries, it's going to take a bit to dry. Markings still can be made in black within some of the lines. So the ideas can be endless. So I'll go back to my black chisel. Maybe I'll do a combination of black and white. And say I go back in using that speckle effect, which is just picking up the imprint of this chisel tip. And that works. Then we have this gray. I'm thinking and do something like that. Let's stay with the theme of lines. Something very simple. Your lines don't have to be perfectly straight. Again, when these things are cut in pieces, there's a totally different look it will have. I really enjoy working with the Posca pens. Your ideas and creative things that you can do with them as far as adding to your gel prints. It's pretty endless. And so there's another mark making design. Now my silver gray is still drying a bit. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back with all of these pieces and see how we can arrange them, or how I can arrange them into a nice piece of painterly art. See you in a few. Okay, I have to say it got a little tricky here, trying to avoid too many darker ones too close together, yet getting enough of the white, yet supporting the work on the perimeters. it got pretty tricky. And I wanted to make sure that I use at least one piece of all the prints that I did, at least one. And yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge to set it up where, you know, when you look at it, your eye isn't drawn to one place more than the other, but with some balance. And perhaps I could have rearranged it again, but then sometimes when you do too much, you just get completely thrown off. So I'm going to glue them down so you can see the final product. Okay, things got shifted around a bit, but here's what we ended up with. And I decided to not do as I've done with other pieces and put lines in the center or block it off. I just put lines around the sides, top, bottom, and sides. I felt that the gray, the black, and the white spoke for itself. It stands out on its own. I didn't need to outline it. And the thought came to me to name it Gray Areas, right? Because that's indicative of life. Everything is not in black and white, but there are a lot of gray areas. So this had its own challenge in terms of not so much the colors, but, well, some of the shades, but also the designs. But that's the beauty and fun of this particular collage style that I've been using. It really makes you think and look at things differently. And perhaps you'd want to try something like this for yourself. It pays to do mark making. It really does. Thanks again for stopping by.